Let's all take a minute, close our eyes, and think about our all-time favorite video game openings. Well, f*** all that. Watch this. Seriously, you can't deny it. Best game opening. Video over. Oh, right. The game's Ape Escape Pumped and Primed for PlayStation 2. I guess I can talk about it. Monkey! Ape Escape Pumped and Primed is a bit of a weird beast. It acts as a spin-off to the core Ape Escape franchise, where you play as a plucky anime kid of the day and capture monkeys sent out by evil ape mastermind Spectre to save the world. The mainline games only have 3 entries, with the last one coming in 2006 with Ape Escape 3. Revive this franchise, Sony, I need it to live! Now, instead of a strictly single-player adventure, Pumped and Primed is a party game of sorts. The original Ape Escape mechanics are still there, like using the right analog stick to control all kinds of gadgets. But now, instead of catching those mischievous monkeys, it's all about a tournament.
Oh, wow, this is great!
Amazing. Can you believe this is actually a virtual world?
Amazing.
So, yeah, we're in a virtual world now, for a contest. Apparently. I seem skeptical, but in a series of games that feature this...
Ninja attack!
Virtual World is a low bar to clear in believability. We also meet new character Helga, rocking that cap like she's about to protest newsboy wages.
Step aside, Romeo, not the what concerns you here. Morning, miss.
Also, these color-coded apes are here. They terrify me. So the goal of Pumped and Primed is to choose your character and compete in the tournament. There's quite the collection of characters, from serious protagonist Spike to Natalie and even the Professor. Then there's Team Monkey, a collection of your typical helmeted Peepo monkeys in various fashionable colors. Collect them all. And then the Peepotrons, the creepy guys we saw earlier, and also resident newsie Helga.
Good morning, miss.
But lest we forget, we gotta talk about the best character in the game. Monkey.
Monkey!
I mean, yeah, it's just Monkey. One Peepo monkey. Why'd you pick him over the more interesting Team Monkey? I'll never know. But you do you, honey. Because I'm boring, I went with Spike for my playthrough. All characters control basically the same, save for a few stat differences. The one true major difference are the variety of super attacks, so just pick whoever you prefer and go for it. Just understand you can't change your character without starting all the way from the beginning. How does the game work, by the way? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Listen, I love the Ape Escape series, but it's never been exactly complex. The tournament is divided into small sections filled with various gadget-focused minigames. To start out, there's a Stun Club minigame where it's just a battle tourney where the last one standing wins. Also, the professor cheats as he didn't get the memo and brings a f***ing hammer to the proceedings. Jerk.
Oh no.
Beyond that, there's the Dragonfly or Skyflyer minigame where you race through an auto-scrolling level, everyone's favorite platforming mechanic, collecting coins while floating through the air and really squinting to see your own dang shadow amongst all the chaos so you don't run off the edge of the platforms for thoroughly dumb reasons out of your control. Also, bombs. You tell I'm not a fan of this one? The coin collecting format is pretty pervasive throughout the game. The dash hoop and RC car minigames also consist mainly of grabbing the coins and potentially sabotaging your opponents. The card game is fine, and apparently I'm in the minority on this, but I kinda love the dash hoop minigame. Everyone's just zooming around the arena and it's just pure chaos, with wins sometimes coming down to luck. It's just madness and I love it. The slingshot is the awkward younger sibling of the Stun Club game. That's it, that's all it is. And then there's vehicle missions. There's a tank game that's exactly what you think. I've always loved controlling tanks in the Ape Escape games, but here in Pumped and Primed, winning can honestly come down to pure luck. It just kind of depends, and it can be a serious problem in the game as a whole. More on that later. All right, frustration's incoming. Still getting over it. Don't talk to me about it. The other 2 vehicle games that round out the full list is the boat and the water net. The devs saw that awful minigame in the original Mario Party that blistered all of our palms and said, what if that, but for thumbs? What I'm trying to say is the game makes you constantly and furiously rotate both analog sticks, and it's upsetting and exhausting. Why? Then there's the water net. It's an underwater battle royale where you're fighting opponents in a fully 360 environment. It controls as clunky as you might expect. So as you can probably tell by my tone, the minigames are a bit of a mixed bag. Not great when you're a party and completely focused on these things, but okay. Listen, I love the concept of an Ape Escape party game. The series is such a zany collection of nonsense, madcap multiplayer mayhem seems right up its alley. Coupled with a fun new cel-shaded graphic style, what's not to like? Well, a lot, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I had fun playing Pumped and Primed, and I really remember loving it as a kid, especially with all the customization options that let you turn characters like Spike into a wannabe Fire Lord. It's just, those minigames? That's all there really is gameplay-wise. Sure, there's boss battles. Jake's evil again? Oh no. Man, this dude can't stop being brainwashed, huh? Jake kind of sucks at taking care of himself. Get it together, man.
I will crush all who oppose Spectre's minions!
Anyway, but those are just variations on the minigames you've already played, though giving us access to multiple gadgets at once is nice. Now, to its credit, the game does try to add some variety about halfway through when we get these new obstacle courses and these larger arenas for fighting, which are fun, but with the way gameplay works, these obstacle courses drag on for far too long, and those large arenas are fun in theory, but everyone just ends up concentrating into one small area and beating the crap out of each other. It's like it needed a bonus objective on top of that made you take advantage of your environment more. To be clear though, while the story mode does get repetitive, it's only like 5 hours or so you'll breeze through it pretty dang fast. Still unfortunate though that when it's that short, monotony still sets in. Also, yeah, hey, this thing kind of has a story. Full spoilers, by the way, just a heads up if you care. So, Spike and company fight through the tournament, and again, don't worry, it's a virtual world. Hitting this senior citizen off a cliff to his death is fine because he won't actually die. It's morally all good, I think.
Oh no.
So, the big MacGuffin for Pumped and Primed is a disc filled with research on something. The professor who worked on this disc is in fact Helga's father, and she's entered the tournament to get it back as the disc is super conveniently placed in the tournament's trophy. Why, you ask? Reasons, of course. Again, this is an Ape Escape multiplayer game. Best not to think about it too much. Spectre 2 is after the disc, hence the Peepa Monkeys are in the tournament. Spike, Natalie, and the Professor, and Cassie, the computer girl who gave you your tasks in the first game is promoted to regular character, weirdly enough, are just here for fun, but once they realize there's trouble afoot, they too try to fight to get the disc. So the first half of the game doesn't have a lot going on story-wise, it's just the tournament. However, once you win the tournament, the Peepatrons yoink the trophy from everyone and take the disc and give it to a computer program called the Grid Core, who naturally wants to rule the world, of course.
There's important data from my father's research on that disc.
Data from your father's research?
It's at this point the Grid Core changes the complete virtual landscape into a new virus-laden land and structures a new tournament, even condemning the Peepatrons to play as they're of no use anymore. I wouldn't cross them, man, they still freak me out. So in this new virus tournament, things get more intense with more minigames that, while similar to previous ones, allows for more gadgets used at once along with those aforementioned new super attacks based on your gadget setup. I actually really like the system and wish they could have used it in the whole game. Maybe adding some kind of RPG-like progression to improve different stats, beyond some elemental stuff you can get from the customization options sent to you by a monkey fan club. A super adorable addition.
If you're not real, then how come I feel this way? Little babies, come here. Come here. Oh, little baby.
Anyway, you fight through this section of the game, which is arguably easier than some of the games from the end of the original tournament. By the end, you have to get perfect scores or else you're screwed, which means starting the whole set of 4 or so games over. And this is the point where these things last a while, so it's very frustrating. I'd show you a clip of me losing my mind at failing these, but just understand I was upset, and I try to keep these videos PG-13 at the most. Eventually, however, we beat the virus tournament and finally face off against the Grid Core, whose fight gives me serious Crash Bash vibes for some reason. With that, well, the core is defeated and the virtual world is saved. Thank goodness, I was heavily invested with this world populated by, I guess, programs? We really only see the mortal visitors, so it's never really clear who's real and who's virtual. It's best not to think about it. I gotta limit myself to 1 existential crisis a day, and that opening might have been my one already. But yeah, that's the story of Pumped and Primed. Pretty basic all in all, but the characters are fun, and that typical quirky Ape Escape personality still keeps it engaging despite its predictability. Yeah, while the game itself is just okay, it really skates by on its presentation. The cel-shaded style, new to the series at the time, is a really cool, distinct look that gives the game a personality and fun art direction that really distinguishes itself from other games in the series. The virtual world itself isn't very exciting, but does gain a bit more of a cool look once the Grid Core takes over. Another fun detail is that depending on what character you play as between the various rounds of the tournament, you get some bonus videos. They range from story-relevant ones like Helga's, to some really freaking rad ones for Peepatron. Ooh, the soundtrack and this animation. Mwah. Sublime. While I definitely prefer these moody, more story-relevant interstitials, some characters just get silly, jokey bits, which is fine. And then there's Cassie, who gets this. Listen, I'm not saying this comes from someone's weird fetish, but that's exactly what I'm saying. It comes as little surprise that music rocks too, from the already mentioned Peepatron bits to even the main menu screen. It's great. So yeah, Ape Escape Pumped and Primed is most definitely a mixed bag, arguably the weakest console entry in the Ape Escape series. There's a lot to love, don't get me wrong, but the repetitive nature of the minigames, coupled with some being an actual chore to play, really drags the game down. It's definitely more fun to play in multiplayer, but even the charm of knocking your enemies off into the abyss gets old after a while. I'd settle for calling it a fun diversion. If you're an Ape Escape fan who's never played it, I'd say check it out for sure, as it's a fun remix of the series' gameplay, though not 100% successful. Definitely check out the character vignettes online though if you don't play it yourself. They're mostly a ton of fun. Mostly. With that, that's another game in the Ape Escape series covered. Trust me in knowing that we're gonna hit all the core titles eventually. I adore the series, and maybe one day the apes will escape. That's the hashtag for the series revival, by the way. Spam it to infinity. Give me the apes, Sony.